PlayStation veteran Shuhei Yoshida is leaving Sony after 31 years. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle has a rumoured 20-hour length, and The Witcher 4 enters full-scale production at CD Projekt Red. All that on the TripleJump Gaming News. Hello, welcome.
Hello,
How are you
welcome
doing?
to the news.
Yes.
How are you doing?
I'm good. It's Wednesday. Got a hat on.
You do, that's correct. It is Wednesday and you have a hat on.
It's not very newsreader to put a little beanie on.
But it's cold.
It's cold.
And you need to be comfortable.
Absolutely. Few big ones today, I think. Some quite exciting things promised to us. But firstly, a bit of sad news.
Yeah.
Sad for the PlayStation fans out there. Shuhei Yoshida is leaving Sony in January. He put the news on the PlayStation blog.
Of course, that's where all the news happens.
We love the PlayStation blog. I mean, to be fair, this is the kind of thing the PlayStation blog should be used for, not to announce, I don't know, a new console. But yeah, so he said that he's leaving in the wake of the 30th anniversary because he feels like he's been here long enough now, which I think is very funny.
He's been there for the whole thing, hasn't he?
Yes.
31 years.
Yeah, he was there just before the release of the original PlayStation. So he said, I'm leaving Sony Interactive Entertainment on January 15th, 2025. It's like announcing the launch of a new game, something I haven't done for years, he said. I've been PlayStation from the beginning, and this is my 31st year with PlayStation. And when I hit 30 years, I was thinking, it may be about time for me to move on. You know, the company's been doing great. I love the PlayStation 5. I love the games that are coming out on this platform. And we have a new generation of management who I respect and admire. And I'm so excited for the future of PlayStation. So, you know, PlayStation's in really good hands. I thought, okay, this is my time.
Shuhei Yoshida is just an intensely likeable man. I've been following his career for as long as I've known that he existed, which is probably about 15 years or so now. But you know, back in the day, he had producer credits on everything from Crash Bandicoot and all the big first-party titles. Citation needed, certainly some of them. And then he had all sorts of roles. I think he was maybe head of Worldwide Studios at some point, and then during the Jim Ryan era, he sort of took a bit of a back step. He was in charge of more like indie stuff.
He's currently the SIE's Independent Developer Initiative.
There we are.
Head of that.
So it's great that he was still able to cling on there, because it did seem like maybe he was being pushed down a little, especially during the Jim Ryan era, where personality was completely scrubbed from PlayStation. You know, executives, they aren't the most personality, what am I trying to say? They're not the most charismatic people in front of camera or on
Unless
stage.
you're Phil Spencer.
Unless you're Philly Spence, of course. But Shuhei Yoshida had like a really disarming charm to him that made him really likable. He clearly loves games. He's always there cheering on and tweeting about indies and upcoming stuff that he's passionate about. I'm sure whatever he goes on to do will certainly be involved in games, and hopefully not as insidious as Jack Tretton, a former president of PlayStation, who went on to work on like microtransaction stuff and tried to monetize video games, which wasn't quite as fun.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a big shame for the indie side of PlayStation. Like, he's been, like you say, a massive cheerleader for so many of the indie games that are coming out of Sony's smaller studios. He literally says, like, his favourite memory from his 31 years of PlayStation is when that game's company released Journey and how well that did. He said, that game won Game of the Year against all these AAA titles. I think for the first time in the industry, the creator Genova Chen did a talk in the summit, and he talked about a letter he received from a girl who lost her father, and she thought about her father, and she was able to move on in her life. The whole audience stood up and the whole room was filled with happiness and an amazing feeling with the small game could have such a big impact on people's lives. He's just a nice guy.
He loves it. He's also immortalised in that video that PlayStation did around the time that the Xbox One was announced about sharing your games. And of course, he's a PlayStation Stars reward. You can have a little Shuhei Yoshida bobblehead in your cabinet that no one ever can look at.
Love that.
Which is great.
But yeah, he's leaving, so obviously, I mean, he's probably not going to watch this, but we wish him well.
All the best, Shuhei Yoshida.
Doing something good next.
I'm his friend on PlayStation Network.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so I get to see what he's playing.
Oh my god, you should send him a little message like, happy trails.
Weekly report. You know what, I should, and I bet he'd reply too.
Probably, yeah.
I'll tell you on the news on Friday if he replies.
Okay.
That's a promise.
Amazing. We've heard some news about the Indiana Jones and the Great Circle game that's
coming.
The Great
Circle!
Next month. It's coming on
really
December
soon.
I just literally wrote about this, December the 6th, I think. Don't quote me on that. It might be the 13th. Watch this week's podcast to find out the truth.
Yeah.
But MinMax posted a new rapid-fire interview with two of their developers, and they have said some really interesting things regarding the length of the game. Obviously, they've not confirmed it. They've not said it's a this many hour games, but they've been making little hints, little puzzles for us to solve. Should we feel the need to?
Yes.
What did they say then?
They said, by far, this is the biggest and longest game that Machine Games have ever done. That was Axel Torvenius, which is a brilliant name. Great Circle's creative director. Their previous biggest titles included the very good Wolfenstein: The New Order and its also good sequel Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus. These two games both took about 13 to 15 hours to complete. It also includes nearly 4 hours of cutscenes. Here's another quote. It's roughly 3 hours and 40 to 45 minutes or something along those lines. It's a lot.
Yeah, so
you're getting 2 Indiana Jones movies out of it.
Whoa. We can speculate that maybe the game is probably longer than 15 hours. I think people have figured out that maybe it's possibly around 20 hours in length.
That's perfect.
Which is the perfect length, and I think makes complete sense for a game that is like this. There's kind of conversation that you're going to have to be going back to areas again to find the secrets and go back for the collectibles and stuff that are in each area. So that is again probably factored into this gaming time frame. But we have had some conversation regarding the length of games and how important it is that I'm not going to pay 70 quid for a game that's 20 hours long. But I feel like we're very much in the camp quality over quantity.
Yes.
Because we're happy to get a 70-hour game, but it's 70 hours of guff. I don't want it.
Take me on a journey. Take me on a fun 7-hour journey. I'm okay with that. I'm all right. I don't, and it doesn't bother me that I may have to pay the same price that someone who gets a 100-hour experience has to pay.
Are you excited for the Indiana Jones game? I
am. When we've spoken about it before, I've come very clean and said that I'm not too arsed about Indiana Jones as a character. I've only caught bits of the movies. It doesn't really do much for me, and I am interested generally to see what Indiana Jones's appeal is to a mainstream audience in 2024, even outside of games, because didn't they have a movie the other year?
The movie came out last year.
Yeah, I don't know how well that did in the end. As in,
people didn't like it very much.
Right. Well, that doesn't sound great, but obviously this is very important to a whole generation of creatives who want to make their own media.
Yeah.
Todd Howard, in particular, who is a producer on this game, I think maybe.
Yes, it's Bethesda.
Executive producer.
Bethesda are publishing it, so I think he's exec producing.
Right, and he's wanted to make this for a while, so I'm sure a lot of love and passion's going to go into it. I really like Machine Games though, and I like Wolfenstein, and so a combination of that and a sort of Uncharted or Tomb Raider-esque adventure, brilliant. That sounds great to me, but not everyone's excited about being first person.
Some people have it's turned people off it being first person only. There is third person to first person kind of moments of set pieces and stuff, but for the most part the game is played in first person. And Jerk Gustafsson, again another
really
fantastic
good name. Very good.
Who is Machine Games' game director, said first person gameplay is part of Machine Games' DNA, and we wanted to see how we could use this to create a really immersive experience around stepping into the shoes of the world's most famous archaeologist. It also separates our game from many other action adventure titles, making it a unique experience that you cannot find anywhere else. I think it's true though, because I feel like if it was in third person and we're doing Indiana Jones, you could start being well, it's a bit Uncharted, it's a bit Tomb Raider, there
wouldn't be any problem with that.
No, we've been here before. It's not Uncharted territory, if you
will. It is Indiana Jones territory.
Indeed. Yes, indeed. But yes, it's going to be first person. Machine Games, like they say, it's their whole thing. They know how to make a first person game. They know how to make a good first person game. And I'm excited to see what they do with this. I think it's going to be a good game. I'm
looking forward to it, even if it's not on the level of an Uncharted in terms of critical reception. As long as it's good, you'll still have a great time.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be... and this is the thing, right?
Punch the Nazis in the back of the head.
Punch the Nazis in the front of the head, if you want. And in all the sides of the head. But that's the thing, going back to the conversation about quantity versus quality and the price you pay upon entry. If a game comes out that's middle of the road and it's 70 hours long, that's an immediate no.
Yeah.
If a game comes out and it's middle of the road and it's 15 to 20 hours long, that's far more palatable, provided you're interested in giving it a try.
Yeah.
And I think they've positioned themselves brilliantly. I might be underselling how good this game turns out to be. I hope it's good because I'm looking forward to playing it on Game Pass. So.
Me too.
Yeah.
Lastly then,
Yes.
CD Projekt Red.
Speaking of 70-hour games,
They're up to something, aren't they?
they certainly are. The Witcher 4 has entered full-scale production. Did they announce it too soon? Yes, they did. They announced it 2 years ago. That's silly. Bad CD Projekt Red. When will you learn? So we have this as part of their latest financial results. CD Projekt Red said, CEO Mikhail Nowakowski.
Nice.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
I'm proud to confirm that several weeks ago, the Polaris team, that is the Witcher 4 team, wrapped up pre-production and moved on to full-scale production, the most intensive phase of development. We are very pleased with our progress on this project, and I wish to thank the team for its dedication. And then, do you want to say what Sebastian Kalemba tweeted,
yes, who is the game director? He said, I'm thrilled to announce that Project Polaris has entered full-scale production phase with new challenges just around the corner. It's a talented and hard-working people who make me believe we can together make the upcoming Witcher saga a remarkable experience. No stopping now! Stay tuned for what's on the other side of the coin. Swords emoji.
Is that what he did?
There was swords emoji.
Oh, okay. Swords emoji. What I'm interested in is realistically how far off this game is now. Do we get it before the end of the decade?
I mean, when they announced it in October 2022, they said it wouldn't be released until 2025 at the earliest. It's not coming next year.
No, it's absolutely
not coming next year. Probably not coming the year after that. It might come 2027 if we're lucky.
Is this a cyberpunk situation again? Not in terms of the quality at launch, but like in terms of announcing it like 6 years ahead of time?
Well, I don't know, because we see like people say that we're working on games and hey, this is a game that's in production, and some of these games do end up taking a while but coming out and being absolute bangers. However, CD Projekt Red seem to not learn from their mistakes and have not really they don't know how to temper expectations. Do old CD Projekt Red. They will say that this game's going to be the best game you've ever played in your whole life, and then they'll keep telling you that for like 6 months, and then it won't work.
It won't work. They have obviously done a lot of damage control over the years, and they've managed to get Cyberpunk to a state where it is some people's favourite game ever. It's working and it's improved. It's had 2 great expansions, or 1 great expansion. People bloody love it, and they know that they can't do that again. So I really hope that they don't do that again, because I think they shocked the entire world with The Witcher 3. No one expected it to be that good, and it was phenomenal. And spoiler alert for the end of Blood and Wine, which was the second DLC. But Geralt, he hangs up his stuff. He's retired. He literally goes to live on a farm.
This new set of Witcher games, we already know that it's not going to be starring Geralt. We weren't even sure if he was going to be in it or not. But the voice actor, Doug Cockle, has revealed that he is going to be in Polaris, whatever the new Witcher game is called, but he's not going to be the main character.
I would be shocked if he didn't show up.
Yeah, I think he'll be around. I don't know if he'll
Just don't kill him. Don't kill Geralt.
Yeah, don't kill him.
Because they gave him a really nice ending where he was finally able to relax his weary Witcher bones with the woman that he loved in a beautiful sun-kissed landscape. It's like a vineyard where he just goes and retires, and it's lovely. If they bring him back and they bloody kill him, I'm going to be furious.
Yeah, so he is going to be in it. We don't know, obviously, who we're going to follow. It might be a protagonist that you can customise, complete customisable character. It's like a whole new school that's never been mentioned in the books or the TV show or the games before.
School of the Ferret.
Yeah, is it the Ferret?
No, I'm just making one up.
It's
it doesn't sound very impressive.
It's a funny kind of wolf.
School of the Mouse.
It's like an interesting wolf. I don't know what it is, but so we'll see what happens with The Witcher. They are working on other things as well. They've got 400 developers working on Polaris, which is the majority of its 650-person total development staff, which is down from 410 last year, would you believe? Or from the end of July. 64 of their workforce are working on Orion, which is a sequel to Cyberpunk 2077, 42 on Sirius, the Witcher game developed by the Molasses Flood, and 18 on Hadar, which is their new IP. So they're working on a bunch of stuff.
They've got enough money.
Well, yes.
I don't want to be hearing about job losses now, CD Projekt Red, because I think you've done well enough not to do that.
Yeah.
Keep all these people employed, keep them making good games.
Absolutely. So we'll see what comes of this. We might hear some more news about it at some point soon regarding what it's going to be called. Maybe we'll get a little glimpse at the kind of gameplay. Or we won't hear anything about it for 2 more years, and then they'll be like, the game's fixed.
We've done it.
Play it now.
We've fixed video games. Hopefully
best one ever.
That doesn't happen. They've got lots of time. There's no rush on this.
And they're not working on a PS5 Pro patch for Cyberpunk either. So they're done with Cyberpunk now. It's finished. They're not working on it anymore. They might, probably do bugs fixes every now and then, but they're not doing a PS5 Pro patch.
Full steam ahead then.
It's done.
Full steam ahead on The Witcher.
4.
How exciting. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Remember, stay tuned to our social media channels where we tweet and post daily video game news, and tune into the podcast this Saturday where we'll be talking about potentially some of these stories in a lot more detail. Thank you so much for watching again, and I will see you on Friday, right?
And I'll see you also on Friday as well.
She'll be there as well.
Yeah.
How exciting.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.